Alrighty guys, welcome to the first of many updated lessons as part of Desire to Scale System 2.0. In this lesson, we are going to be covering the new deep research prompts and how to conduct market awareness research, competitor research, avatar and psychographic research. So 3 types of research. And then we're going to create what we call a master research document that is going to essentially house and summarize all 3 of these documents into one that we can then use for any and all future copywriting that we do with LLMs, or in other words, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. And basically, this is going to replace, if you guys have seen, for those of you guys that have taken the original course, we used to do market research with prompts number 1 and number 2. And since then, obviously, there's been a lot of changes that I've made to the course. Things that I'm doing differently. I wrote this probably 3 months ago, and since then, things have changed dramatically in the process. And the whole point of this first lesson is to give you guys all of the updated prompts. So we're going to walk through this step by step. If you're watching this video currently and you're going in order of the course, by this point, you should already have a product that you want to sell. We're going to use the Purify Cat Water Fountain as an example, but just know that you cannot start this process, the research process, until you have an actual product. So that being said, there's going to be a couple things that you need. Linked beneath this video is going to be a document called GTE Desire to Scale System Prompts. Click into that document and open it up. You're going to need this open to follow along. And then you're also going to need access to any LLM of your choice. Now, if you want the best results with these prompts, you need to be using Gemini 2.5, either Pro or Flash. If you have access to Pro, I would go with Pro. Because to be honest, guys, there's not a single tool out there that comes even close to the research capabilities of Gemini. So to be honest, I would strongly recommend that you get access to Google Gemini, particularly 2.5 Pro, and you follow along with these prompts and you do all of your research with Gemini. Now, you can do these prompts with ChatGPT, but you need to know that your results are going to be, I don't want to assign like a specific percentage, like 20 to 30% worse, but just know that if you want to unlock the full capabilities of this research and give your future Claude chats and ChatGPT chats the best information necessary to write the best copy and therefore make the most money possible, do all of your research with Gemini. Again, if you absolutely have to, use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever subscription that you have. But in the most ideal scenario, these prompts were made for Gemini and they work best for Gemini, and you'll get the best results using Gemini. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and dive straight in. So let's start with prompt number 1, which is market awareness research. So the very first thing that we do when we have a product is we want to go ahead and see, using deep research, what is the dominant level of market awareness. And I want to explain to you guys that are new, that don't yet know what market awareness even means. We'll break this down really quick here. So market awareness is essentially a concept that is introduced, or was first introduced in a book called Breakthrough Advertising by one of the best copywriters of all time, Eugene Schwartz. And the whole idea of market awareness simply is that if you imagine the entire market for your product, otherwise known as your total addressable market, usually abbreviated as your TAM. If you think about your entire TAM, your entire market, Eugene Schwartz basically hypothesized or brought about this concept that the entire total addressable market for any product exists in 5 stages of awareness. You can divide the audience up into 5 stages of awareness. You have unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. And so as you can imagine, and as these names suggest, unaware basically describes someone who, let's zoom in a little bit. Actually, let's just click in because this is a really good image. So just use this as our example. So pretty obviously, unaware describes someone who basically doesn't even realize they yet have a problem that needs solving. So if you think about the products, if we back up a second here, the products that you should be selling with the Desire to Scale system are products that solve problems, right? So you have a customer and you basically have the problem and then you have the product, right? And so if you think about a customer who is unaware, this is someone who doesn't even yet realize that they have a problem. A good example of this would be guys who feel like they're very tired, they feel very lethargic, or they feel like they have brain fog, but they don't yet realize that they have a problem of having low testosterone, right? Or they don't yet realize that they have a problem with their gut microbiome. But they have these certain feelings and like identifications that they consciously have, but they haven't yet made that connection to a problem, right? So that's someone who is completely unaware. Then you have people who are problem aware. This is the person that knows, hey, I have a problem where I feel brain fog, and I know it's related to the fact that I have low testosterone, or I know it's related to the fact that I have a problem with my gut microbiome, or I'm getting 4 hours of sleep. These are people who have certain emotions and feelings that they can identify with, and they can connect it to a specific problem, and they're aware that that specific problem is the reason why they have these certain emotional states, like feeling tired or feeling brain fog. So those are prospects that are problem aware. Solution aware is someone who is aware that they have a problem, and they are aware that there are solutions available to solve that problem, but they don't yet know of any specific products, let alone your product. So for example, someone who is maybe dealing, again, going back to that problem of having low levels of testosterone. They know that there are testosterone supplements. They know that you can get injectable testosterone. They know that you can buy certain foods that increase testosterone. So they're aware that there are already solutions to the problem, and they know there are ways to solve it, but they haven't yet made a decision, or they're not yet aware of what is the best product for them. So the solution to their problem, which is increasing testosterone, can come in a variety of different products. You've got supplements, you've got foods, maybe even like coaching programs, info products, right, to increase testosterone. So they know that there are solutions, but they don't yet know of the specific products, and they're not yet aware of which is the best product for them. Then we move down into product aware. So these are prospects that are aware that your particular product or service is available and it solves their problem, but they're not yet fully aware of everything that your product does, or that it is in fact the best solution. So they might actually know that testosterone supplements are a way or effective way to solve the problem, but they're not yet convinced that testosterone supplements are better than a coaching program, are better than natural biohacking foods that increase testosterone. So they're almost like evaluating different products at this stage. So another way that you can think of it is that they are aware, they know your product exists, they know what a testosterone supplement is, but they aren't completely aware of all that it does, or aren't convinced yet of how well it does it. So it's really important to understand the difference between solution aware and product aware. In solution aware, you have customers and audiences that they know there is a solution to their problem, but they don't yet know of any specific products to solve it, right? So they know that the problem can be solved. And then in product aware, they know your specific product exists, right? They know that testosterone supplements exist, but they aren't yet convinced that it's the best way to solve their problem. They may not know everything that it does. They might not be aware of all it does. Then lastly, you have most aware. And most aware is honestly an audience level that you'll never have to really worry about when you're starting out dropshipping, because these are people that not only know your product, but they also know your brand. So obviously, if you're starting a completely brand new brand from scratch, nobody's going to know your brand. They're probably going to know other brands, but when you are starting out, nobody knows who you are. So this is not even awareness level that you even really, we don't even do research on the most aware audience per se, because nobody knows who you are. Again, most aware are typically the smallest audience size, but these are the people that know your brand, they know your product, they just haven't gotten around to purchasing yet. And these are the people that you want to hit, exclusively with offer ads, right? Like with a 20% off, or like a Labor Day sale or something along those lines. So those are the 5 levels of awareness, right? So you've got unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. And the reason why this is important is because, number one, the way that you speak to someone who is unaware is totally different from the way that you speak to someone who is most aware. I kind of already alluded to this, but if you have someone who is most aware, right? And someone, again, who is most aware, they know of your product, they know what it does, they know all the benefits, they know all the features, they know your brand sells it, they just haven't gotten around to purchasing it yet, right? So the way that you speak to someone who knows all of that is completely different to how you might speak to someone who is unaware, who doesn't even know they have a problem, or someone who is problem aware, right? Who they know they have a problem to solve, but aren't aware of any specific solutions. So I want you to imagine, like, if you have let's say a Labor Day sale running, and your ad shows up in front of someone who's problem aware, and you say, hey, get the best testosterone increasing supplement on the market for 20% off. That might work for someone who is most aware, because again, they know that those supplements work. They know your brand sells them. They just haven't gotten around to purchasing yet. But if you show that ad to someone who's problem aware, you say, get the best, most effective testosterone supplement for 20% off. These are people that have never even heard of testosterone supplements. They don't even know what a testosterone supplement will do, right? So you showing an ad for 20% off the most effective testosterone supplement to someone who knows they have a problem but doesn't even know what that is not going to get them to buy. They have there's a mismatch between what your ad is saying and the awareness level of your audience. And when you have that mismatch, you're not going to be able to effectively sell someone your product, because ultimately, whichever awareness level you're targeting, if you think about it, your goal is to move them wherever you're starting from all the way down into most aware, right? You want to basically educate people, whether they're unaware, whether they're problem aware, whether they're solution aware, whether they're product aware, to the point where they're most aware, where they know everything your product does and they know they want it. They just haven't gotten around to purchasing it yet. So the way that you speak to someone who's problem aware is completely different than how you speak to someone who is most aware. And if you ignore this, you're inevitably going to create ads that speak to or that resonate with one type of awareness level, but your audience might exist in a totally different awareness level. And this was one of the biggest breakthroughs that got me on Purify from scaling at $1,000 a day all the way up to $10,000 a day, was actually doing the research to understand what is the dominant awareness level in my market, meaning where do the majority of people in the total addressable market for a particular product fall into in terms of level of awareness. Is it the majority of people are solution aware? Is it the majority of people are most aware? Is it the majority of people are unaware? This is what using these prompts that we're about to use will allow us to see. And this is why this is the starting ground for our research, because before we write any piece of copy, we need to know, looking across the entire market, where do the majority of our audience lie in terms of awareness level? Because we could write the best copy in the world, but if the majority of our audience is product aware, right? If the majority of our audience is product aware and we write to them like they are problem aware, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're not going to sell effectively because your audience already knows about your product. They know everything that it does. And so they need a different type of message than someone who is problem aware. So again, you can have the best copy in the world, but if you write problem aware copy to someone who's product aware, it's not going to convert. So that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the first of our prompts, which is the awareness prompt. Okay. So, and apologies if this is coming through. I think someone just got broken into a couple of blocks down. So unfortunate, but okay. So prompt number one, market awareness research. And I've designed these prompts where everything that is in yellow, you want to replace with your information. And then everything else you can just copy paste. And I'll do a quick overview. So every single one of these prompts has, if you click on the tabs here, you'll have the actual prompt itself. This is what you watching this video right now are going to copy paste into Gemini or ChatGPT. So that's what you'll copy paste. You replace all the yellow information with your information. The second part of this, of each tab, is going to have an example prompt filled out. So what it should look like when you fill this out yourself. And then I also attach an example awareness, an example prompt output. So basically, I already went ahead and generated an output using each of these prompts, and I left an example of what it should look like once you're finished. Okay, so let's go back up to prompt number one, and we're going to copy this entire thing up until the line here, and we're going to open up Gemini. We're going to go into a new chat. We're going to check deep research. We're going to paste this in like that. And we're going to fill in all of the information. So we're going to do this for Purify. I want your help evaluating the level of market awareness for a product in the your niche. So we're going to say cat health niche. And the specific product is cat water fountain. Okay. I need you to conduct deep research for this product in and insert whatever country you're targeting. I'm going to say the United States. Here's my number one competitor in this space, and we're going to put the website URL of our competitor, which is trykittiespout.com. So there they are. Then, as an optional, we're going to include a screenshot of the SimilarWeb demographic data of our competitor. So what that means is you should already have your competitor's SimilarWeb demographic data from when you're doing product research, because we don't sell products that are not validated with SimilarWeb. So what I'll do here is enter in Kitty Spout. And let's go ahead and choose all the beds here. Awesome. It's going to ask me to create a free account. You don't need a paid account to run this. So there they are. Okay, so what I did there really quick, because I might have moved too early, is I've entered the URL for my competitor. So let's say it's kittyspout.com or trykittyspout. I think it's trykittyspout.com. Oh, it's not. It's kittyspout. Okay, so we entered in our URL. I've searched them numerous times, which is why it auto-populated. Then from here, I'm going to go into the demographics, and I'm going to take a screenshot of their demographics. Okay, this is totally optional. I'm still experimenting with whether or not this actually improves the output. I just think it's good to give like the AI as much like information as possible whenever you're doing deep research. Okay, so we've inserted that screenshot of SimilarWeb demographic data. Now, this is another optional step. This is mainly for people who already have a like product that you've been selling and you want to implement the Desire to Scale system into your current product, or you are someone who is on the old system and you're trying to use the new research prompts. So if you have a PDF of your current product page or a URL to your current product page, attach it here. If you don't have one, skip this step, okay? And that's in the prompt as well to make it really, really clear. If you don't have one yet, skip this step. So again, it's totally optional. If you have one, go ahead and insert it. I'm going to insert mine because I do have one, which I'll just put in my website there. Okay, so we have a link to snapshot or snapshot of my product page here. And then all you need to do now is press enter. So we filled in all of the information, or all of the yellow information rather. And now we can begin the deep research. So we're going to press submit, and Gemini is going to quickly confirm everything about the prompt. And then it will basically ask you one more time if everything looks good to go, and then we're good to go. Just a sec. All right, I'll pause here. Okay, so pretty much every time before you do research, Gemini will do this thing where it's like, let me know if you need any changes. You can edit the plan if you want, but I just go ahead and press start research, and we will go ahead and let this cook. This prompt, the awareness prompt, it takes, I would say probably about 5 minutes. Oh shit. Oh, there we go. It takes probably about 5 minutes. Some of the other prompts take a little bit longer. I've seen this one take anywhere from like 5 minutes on the low end to like 15 minutes on the high end. So I'm going to pause here, but before I do pause so we can kind of time skip, I want to show you why I have switched from ChatGPT and these prompts here to doing my research with Gemini. And you'll see here in a second how incredible Google Gemini is. So all right, of course, as soon as I press pause, like the thing started researching, but you can actually see the process and the thinking behind the research. And as you can see, it starts off saying, okay, I'm going to deep dive into the market awareness, and then it starts researching websites. Right off the bat, I'm at 65 websites. Okay, my original pain diving prompt was 20 public discussion forum posts on Reddit. With Gemini, with very little prompting, I now have, I've got I've got 99 websites here, 99 websites. And what's great is if you click on these, right, we're getting all kinds of types of websites. We've got information from Cornell University all the way to YouTube videos, all the way to forums I've never even heard of. We've got news outlets. We've got so many different things. We got Reddit forums. So what's great with these updated prompts is we're still getting the public discussion forum posts, which to me, the best place to do research on any audience for selling a product is you go to Reddit, because Reddit is where people talk in detail about the problems that they have, and they network with other people who have their problems, and those people try to help others solve their problems that they've solved in the past. And it's just one of the best places to do. Actually, scratch that. It is the best place to do research if you want to understand what do people actually want in a particular market, and what kind of problems they have. How do they talk about it in their own words? Like some people get really, really revealing on Reddit. And what's great with Gemini is that we are still getting all of those different websites. We're just getting, now we're getting TikToks, we're getting YouTube videos, as you can see, this completely blows the water out of anything that we were doing with the previous series of prompts. So this is going to continue analyzing, and I'll go ahead and show you what to do next. So just give this, I'll pause here, and then we'll return to this once this is finished. All right, you guys. So the research has been finished, and as you can see, we're going to get a massive document here. And what we're really looking for when we do this research is you're going to scroll down, and your research should include a 5-level analysis of market awareness. So you don't really need to read, honestly, anything above this point. I mean, all this information is valuable, but to be honest, I'd be lying through my fucking teeth if I told you I sat down and read all of this. What I'm looking for here is really this section here and what's going to be most relevant to you, which is where Facebook, fucking Facebook, bro. Literally Zuckerberg, I'm so like fucking indoctrinated with Facebook ads. It just like creeps into my normal everyday speak. But anyways, what we're looking for in this research output is the 5-level analysis of market awareness, where Gemini should break down every single one or all 5 of the awareness levels and give you an estimation of how much as a percentage each awareness level represents for your total addressable market. So in other words, basically what we want to see is something like this, where in the market for cat water fountains and cat health, 15% of the market is unaware, 20% of the market is problem aware, level 3, 35% of the market is solution aware, 25% is product aware, and then 5% is most aware. Okay. And what's great is basically Gemini should break this down to you. And as you can see, like the estimated US households, like, and the audience sizes of these are fucking huge. But if we break this down, basically you can see, okay, so based on this, we have 15% of people in our market. They provide a water bowl to their cat and they're not aware of the specific risks of dehydration beyond common sense. In a problem aware market, they're worried that their cat doesn't drink enough water and they're actively seeking solutions. So they're probably doing things like adding water to food, having a separate water bowl, switching to wet food versus dry food, but they don't yet know about fountains as a specific product category. And then solution aware, they know that cat water fountains exist and understand their purpose, but they're not actively researching or comparing specific brands. Then we have product aware, actively researching and comparing different fountain brands, materials, features. And then most aware, people who already have a cat water fountain or maybe looking to replace or upgrade to a better model that solves existing pain points. So why is this important? So when we look at this, what's really important to know is that what is the awareness level that has the highest percentage of your overall total addressable market. And the reason why that's important is because that is going to be the starting ground for where we basically start writing our ads. And the reason why this is important is because, again, we don't want to write ads for one specific type of awareness level when the majority of our audience exists in a certain other awareness level, right? So in seeing this, I don't want to write ads that are unaware if only 15% of my TAM is represented by the unaware audience. I want to focus on people who are solution aware because the majority of people basically in this TAM, they know cat water fountains exist. They know what they're for, but they're not actively researching or comparing specific brands. And the best example I could give is in using the skincare niche as an example. Like, in the skincare niche, there's not a single person in the total addressable market for wrinkle creams, right? Or anti-wrinkle skin aging treatments that doesn't know what a wrinkle cream is. So it wouldn't make sense to introduce a wrinkle cream as like, oh, do you have wrinkles? Well, did you know about this product called wrinkle creams? Like 99% of people in the total addressable market for anti-aging skincare know that creams are a thing, right? So writing problemware copy that's like, hey, if you struggle with wrinkles, have you heard about this new thing called anti-wrinkle cream that can help you solve it? It's like, yeah, dude. 99% of women know that. And it's the same thing with your market. So you need to figure out what is the awareness level that represents the largest percentage of your total addressable market. And this is the awareness level that you're going to start writing your specific copy, right? So I wouldn't even start like with my cat water fountain. I wouldn't even start with writing in unaware. I might test out some problem aware copy, right? But if I want to get the best results, I know that I'm going to need to live in solution aware. And I want to show you some live examples of this in the Purify ad account. So let me show you inside of Purify's ad account. Right now, let's do last 7 days. All right. So what we're looking at here is the last 7 days of Purify's ad account. Let me go ahead and put the God tier econ filters. And I want to show you this inside of my campaign. You're going to see a bunch of tests, but if I filter this down by amount spent and we look at the top performing tests in this campaign, number one, the largest amount spent by far is going to be my batch 4 solution aware test. And I want to contrast this against some of the problem aware tests that I was running. And so you can see the difference and you can really feel how much of a difference speaking to the right awareness level actually makes. So in the old desire to scale system where we did not factor in awareness levels, I simply wrote copy. We just wrote, problem, agitate, solution, copy. And this copy was inevitably going to a problem aware audience. So let's look at the highest spender. Let's go into here, go to our highest spender. Let's preview this one. Okay. And here's the copy. I calculated that my cat and I have shared 2,920 breakfasts together, then realized we might only have 730 left. And so this copy, if we just go through it really quick, is written towards a problem aware audience, right? So we're going through this copy. It's written for a problem aware audience. There's no mention of cat water fountains. Now I want to show you what happened when I switched this copy and basically took the same desires, the same angles, and instead I wrote them for a solution aware audience. Okay. So again, as a reminder, what is a solution aware audience? The solution aware audience knows that cat water fountains exist and knows what they're for, but is not actively researching or comparing specific brands. So let's look at the ad account now, and let's go into our solution aware test. So here is one of my best performing ads, and we'll preview this right now. All right, so take a look at the hook. The moment my vet saw my cat's new fountain, she said that's why his kidneys were failing, right? So it's already written from the perspective of somebody who has purchased a cat water fountain, who's actively using cat water fountains, right? So, and if you read the first section of the copy here, simple enough, I went to PetSmart that afternoon and bought a cute flower-shaped fountain, plastic but BPA free, had great reviews. Max would love it, except he didn't. So again, this copy is written from the perspective of someone who's already purchased a fountain, who knows that fountains exist, who knows what they do, right? And that perfectly aligns with the fact that the majority of this market already knows that cat water fountains exist. And by just changing the awareness level and writing the exact same desire and same angle, and when I say same angle, it's literally the exact same angle. Let me show you. Let me show you here. So it's the exact same angle, meaning it's still a 3 a.m. emergency vet, story, right? So where is it? I'm trying to find the actual where it says it. But basically, yeah, she gets into the hospital, and the cat has early stage kidney disease. So it's the same angle. All we did was change the awareness level and look at the difference in performance. And that's just last 7 days. If I throw this on maximum, night and day difference. Look how many more conversions I'm generating. And then the CPA is also extremely strong. And when you have the awareness dialed in, what this allowed me to do was actually create a dedicated advertorial campaign, which is called Advertorial Solution Aware. And if I throw this on last 7 days, right, now I'm just testing solution aware ads only and going to a solution aware landing page. And as you can see, $42 CPA, $12,000 in conversion value in the last 7 days at a 2.62 return on ad spend. And let's click into here. And I will go ahead and show you. Let's go ahead and show you guys the website as well. Oh my God, I can't find it. Where's the damn thing? So annoying. There we go. All right, so look at the actual advertorial itself. Top veterinarian exposes your cat's water fountain could be shortening their lifespan by 5 years. So again, we're not saying this revolutionary new device that helps your cat stay hydrated, or this new breakthrough technology that keeps cats hydrated even if you feed them dry food. It's no, we're operating under the assumption, based on the research that we've done, which shows us the majority of people in this market, right, are solution aware. They know cat water fountains exist. So we're not introducing the cat fountain like it's this breakthrough thing. We're saying, no. Your cat's fountain, it could be shortening their lifespan by 5 years. That's the main headline, right? Now you can kind of see the actual photo here is pretty disturbing, where the cat is literally drinking from germ-infested waters. And just by changing the awareness level and keeping this in mind, That is what allowed me to take Purify and scale it from doing, if we look at like where we were at, like if we go back here, right, we're averaging 1 to 2K a day, right? You know, nothing crazy, 2.4 or 3, right? 4K a day. Now we literally double the business. We're doing 10K a day. I mean, we're on pace for our first $10,000 a day on the store just by switching awareness levels. And the reason, like, so that is why I'm hammering this point home to you guys about why we start with the awareness level research first, because it wasn't until I actually adjusted my ad copy to match the awareness level of my audience that I was able to hit $10,000 a day with Purify. And so now in learning this, I want you guys and I want this system to start with understanding the awareness level. So once you have, now that I'm done fucking rambling as I usually do, what we're going to do is we're going to export this to docs, right, in Gemini. Now, if you're not using Gemini, another thing that you can do is just download or copy the contents and then create a Google Doc. And it's actually going to name it very nicely as Cat Water Fountain Market Awareness Analysis. Okay. You can call this market awareness sheet, whatever you want. All you need to do is store this on a Google Doc, okay? And, store it on a Google Doc and also download this, okay? So we're gonna download this as a PDF document and we're gonna save that there for now and we're gonna go back to that in the future when we go to create the master research document. But so now you should have a Google Doc and then you should also have a downloaded PDF version of this. And again, the only thing that you need to take away from this entire document is what is the awareness level that has the highest percentage of your total addressable market. And I will tell you right now, it should never be most aware. It is usually going to be either product aware or solution aware. Those are the most common majority awareness levels that I've seen, especially the more you can think of it as like the more saturated a niche, like skincare. Most people are product aware, right? Most people are just comparing different brands, right? Most people who are in skincare trying to get rid of blackheads, they don't need to be educated that creams and serums help with blackheads. They are just, what's the best one, right? Watching influencers, watching TikToks, whatever. Whereas maybe an industry like how to start a school community, right? The school is a new industry. Maybe not many people actually know about what school is. So probably a lot of people are not product aware. They're probably closer towards problem aware. You know, like agency owners who are burnt out from dealing with clients, right? They know they have a problem, their business isn't scalable. They don't yet know that school is a solution, or they don't yet know that there are solutions out there that they can basically use to change business models and still make money off their info, right? So basically the only thing to take away from this video and from this sheet is what is the awareness level with the largest percentage of your overall TAM. And then that is the awareness level that you're going to write your actual ad copy in. So you want to lock this in as your dominant awareness level. Okay. And that pretty much wraps up the first video on market awareness and then how to conduct market awareness research. So as a quick recap, we talked about what market awareness is, and we demonstrated through real-time live results with Purify, the case study store for this community, how market awareness and speaking to the correct awareness level can actually make or break a dropshipping store, and speaking to the correct one can actually allow you to double your dropshipping business with the same ad creatives, the same copy, just changing the awareness level. And we walked through how to use prompt number 1, the market awareness research prompt inside of Gemini. And then we talked about the only thing that you need to take away from this giant market awareness analysis document is what is the awareness level that has the highest estimated percentage of your overall TAM. And we talked about locking this in as the one awareness level that we're going to focus on as we build out the rest of our ads or our initial desire testing ads for this product. So we're not going to speak to any other awareness levels. We're going to focus on the one with the highest percentage of our TAM. And then lastly, what we did was we exported this research here from Gemini into a Google Doc, which we can find here. And then we downloaded this Google Doc because we're going to use it for later in subsequent lessons to actually create what we call a master research document. And we'll talk more about that in future lessons. But for now, hope you enjoyed this lesson on market awareness research, and I will see you in the next one. All right, you guys, welcome to the next training. In this video, we're going to walk through 3 different documents and doing research on competitors. We're going to do research on avatars. And then lastly, we're going to create the master research document, which is basically, again, going to house all of the research on awareness levels, competitors, and avatars that we're going to be putting together in just one document. Main purpose of that is so you don't have to upload 3 documents every single time you want to write some copy or any single time you want to create some new marketing materials. So let's go ahead and dive in. Before we do, let's do a quick recap of what we did in the previous lesson, where we focused exclusively on the importance of market awareness levels, defining what market awareness actually means based on Eugene Schwartz breakdown and definitions in Breakthrough Advertising, the importance of starting out with market awareness in our research process, and the importance of identifying what is the awareness level where the majority of your market falls into. Because as we talked about, ensuring that you're crafting all of your copy, your advertorials, your listicles, your landing pages, your ads to the awareness level that represents the majority of your market is critical to actually getting success, hitting $1,000 a day, and scaling beyond to $10,000 per day. And by the end of that video, you should have a document that looks something like this, which, as you can see, is the Cat Water Fountain Market Awareness Analysis document. That is basically an example that we did by doing this prompt for Purify. And you should know by now what the awareness level is that has the majority of your market. So for example, with the Cat Water Fountain, we know that the majority of people in this market are going to fall in solution aware as well as product aware. Those are the 2 awareness levels with the highest levels of concentration. And you should have a nice handy dandy chart right here. So now that we know the dominant awareness level for our product and our market, our next step is to start doing some competitor research. So we're going to open up Google Gemini once again, and we're going to open up and click on this prompt here and this tab on the left, competitor research. And we're going to copy paste this prompt here. Everything from I want your help doing competitor research all the way down to the last bullet point here. I have a filled out example of what this prompt should look like for the Cat Water Fountain. So I'm actually just going to copy paste this in, but what you need to do is copy paste I'll just copy paste and fill this out with you. So copy paste this prompt, open up Gemini, paste it in, then you're going to check deep research. Let's go full screen here. And then we're just going to fill out all of that yellow information here. So anything that's yellow here is stuff that you need to replace. So I just realized this is the wrong prompt. This should be in your country. Okay, so let's go ahead and replace this and enter the prompt. So we'll say in the cat health space, the specific product is product, and we'll say cat water fountain. And we are focused on competitors in and then whatever country you're selling to. To get you started, here's my #1 competitor in this space, and then you just insert the URL of your competitor. This should be the competitor that you found the product through and validated on SimilarWeb. So if you found a product from a competitor on Get Hooked, you should already have their URL anyways. And then from there, now you can just enter them in here. And then we press submit. So let's let this cook and wait for Gemini to do its thing. Okay, so now all we need to do is press start research, and we press start research. And then we let Gemini do its thing. Honestly, one of my favorite parts of doing deep research with Gemini is just seeing how many websites it actually comes up with. It's insane. So we're doing competitor research right now, and boom, immediately. What I love is just it's going to find like direct competitor websites. It's also going to go on Reddit forums. It's going to go on YouTube. I mean, 46 websites in a matter of like 30 seconds. So it's basically perusing the entire internet. I don't know why I said perusing. Scouring the entire internet for potential competitors. As you can see, it's looking on Amazon and Chewy. And yeah, we'll basically go ahead and let this cook. It should only take about like 5 minutes, but our only thing you need to do now is wait for the deep research to be completed. So I will see you shortly. Actually, I just wanted to interrupt here really quick and say, look at Gemini, man. 160 websites. 160 freaking websites have been searched in like 2 minutes. Okay. Anyways, we'll wait for this to finish up, and then we'll be done. All right. So we have just finished up the competitor research, or the competitor deep research. And same thing as last time, what we're going to do is export this to docs. If you're not using Gemini, copy all the contents and paste it onto a Google Doc. And we're going to export this now, and I'll show you what we're looking for in the competitor research doc. Because similar to the market awareness document, you do not have to read all of this. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good information. What it's going to give you that is worth looking at is the main competitors in your space. So as you can see, Kitty Spout is here. We've got Pet Libro, Catit, and PetSafe. These are all different competitors. And it's going to do a deep dive into each of these, so you can actually understand, what are their funnels that they're currently running, what's their target audience and core value proposition, what's their messaging, what's their product pricing. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good information. But again, all of this is going to be used in prompting AI to actually write copy, so you don't really need to read all of this word for word. The part that I do recommend that you pay attention to, if there was any part that I would recommend that you pay attention to, is the marketing and messaging strategy, right? Seeing how your competitors are speaking to their customers, the product and pricing, right? Very, very obvious why you would want to know that. And then the target audience and core value proposition. So who they're speaking to, what they're saying in their materials, in their marketing materials. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, this is really the key thing that I would want you guys to actually read, like actually sit down and read. Is scroll down to the bottom. Oh, wait, this is all the sources, which is insane. Where is it? Scroll down to the bottom. Okay, so your sheet should come with, where is it? Was it this? Wait, no. Key competitor analysis, strategic synthesis. Okay, so there should be a section that's called strategic synthesis and market opportunities. Basically, you want to scroll down to the very bottom of this document and actually read and pay attention to what Gemini is describing as the market opportunities. So this will basically tell you in the market what your competitors are currently doing and what the audience wants that your competitors are not currently doing. So for example, if we look at this Kitty Spout example here, right? It says they've crafted a really strong marketing message that's developed with core fears and desires of modern cat owners. Their direct response funnel is highly effective at converting concerned pet parents. However, this marketing success is built on a foundation of operational failure. The chasm between their polished US-centric branding and the reality of slow fulfillment from China, non-existent customer service, and inconsistent product quality has created a massive trust gap. So these are things that you, getting into this particular market, you want to start to consider. You want to start thinking long-term about how you can do things better than your competitors, because we're not trying to make a quick $1,000 a day. We're not even trying to make a quick $10,000 per day. We're trying to do $1 million months. We're trying to create long-term brands. We're trying to create enterprise value, things with enterprise value that we can eventually sell off and exit at a really high multiple. You want to think that long-term. And so if you're seeing your competitors and you're seeing, hey, they have slow fulfillment, their customer service is ass, and their product quality is ass, guess what? You want to do better than your competitors. You want to have better product quality. You want to have better customer service. You want to get your fulfillment on point. And these are the things that you can also improve in your marketing materials as well. So as you can see, there's an opportunity section here where it says, clear and present demand for a brand that can deliver on the powerful health promises of Kitty Spout, but with transparent, reliable, and a US-based operation. So already you can start to get some ideas, right? A brand that offers a similar high-quality stainless steel wireless product. Like a good example is right now, I don't sell a wireless product, but I've had multiple people return the product because they do want a wireless one. So now I can start thinking, again, more long-term. And a lot of this is really going to be used in the actual copywriting experience. So you don't really need to read it word for word, but this definitely houses a lot of information that is going to be extremely valuable to you if you want to create a long-term brand and differentiate yourself from your competitors. And when you can successfully differentiate and provide a better customer experience, you're going to be around for the long term and you're going to beat your competitors in the long term as well. Okay, so that's the competitor research document. We're going to download this, download that as a PDF, and we're pretty much done with this document now. So we can go back to our desire to scale system prompts, and we can go into our next prompt, which is avatar research. So now we're going to do some avatar research, and this prompt is going to look very familiar because this actually has not changed from the old 1.0 version of the course, which was creating a custom avatar profile. So you're actually going to see pretty much the exact same questions and insights and basically the same prompt with some minor changes. We've added a little bit more to this prompt, but it is essentially the exact same thing. But the reason for that is because it works really well, and there's no need to change something if it's working. So again, copy this entire prompt. What we're going to do now is go into a new Google Gemini chat. We're going to paste this in. And again, all we need to do is replace any of the yellow information with our information. So as you can see, I'm writing some sales copy targeted towards people in the market for insert the market / product you're selling in and the ages plus genders you're targeting. So at this point, you should have a pretty decent understanding of what demographic that you want to go after. And if you recall back to doing the SimilarWeb research or, pulling up your competitor on SimilarWeb, if you don't yet know what demographic you're going to target, go into SimilarWeb, enter in your number one competitor that you found the product from. So for me, that's Kitty Spout. We'll do kittyspout.com. Okay. Let's create a free account really quick. All right. So we're going to type in Kitty Spout. And what we're going to do is we added in Kitty Spout here, and we're going to go to demographics. Then we're going to go over to their age distribution, and we're going to pick one of these demographics to go after. So when you're making this decision, you want to focus on the demographics that have the largest percentage of the distribution. So with Kitty Spouts, it's interesting because they actually have a fairly even distribution of ages. And if I go to other brands, like I had another example here, as you can see in the example screenshot where I did Viasocks, these guys are pretty much, if you look at their age distribution, they're like 65 plus is 26%, 55 to 64 is 32%. So the majority of the market that my competitors are selling to are going to be in this demo, right? Like 45 and up. And really, if we want to get really specific, it would be 55 to 65 plus. Like if I was to go after, if I was to create a competitor to Viasocks, I would focus on 55 to 65 plus, right? And I would disregard all of these because this is my number one competitor. I've already validated they're doing at least $300,000 per month or potentially more. These guys are doing several 7 figures per month. And so I want to focus on the demographics that make up the majority of that traffic. So if they're pushing to these demographics, I want to push to those demographics as well, because that's going to give me the best chance of finding success. Imagine it, just like use your common sense. Would it make sense to go after 18 to 24-year-olds with Viasocks when the people that do $1 million a month only have 1% of their traffic coming from 18-year-olds? Probably not. Now, in the case of a brand like Kitty Spout, where you see a fairly even distribution, what I would do is lean towards the demographics that that have more close together likeness. That doesn't even make fucking sense. Basically, like I'm looking at this graph and I'm seeing like, okay, there's 17% here, 20% here, 17% here, right? And then when you get into these demographics, you can kind of see some drop off, right? Like there's not a lot of 18 to 24-year-olds buying this. And then the second lowest age distribution is actually 35 to 44. They have this like interesting like spike in 25 to 34. But if you use your common sense and you just go in order of what the highest age demographics are, it's going to be 55 to 64, 65 plus, and 45 to 54. Now, typically, I would want to focus on 2 demographics. You can go up to 3. Like if I was to say and look at these, I would probably tell AI I'm interested in selling to 45 to 65 plus. That would be the demographics that I focus on because those are in order of like top 1, 2, and 3. And I would ignore this because it's kind of an anomaly, right? It's kind of sitting on an island. Again, most brands are going to have an age distribution that's fairly straightforward to follow, like Viasocks, where it's super easy. You already know like, okay, I'm going to want to focus this on 55 to 65 plus. In the case of Kitty Spout, you kind of have to be a little bit more nuanced and think a little bit. Whereas like the way I'm thinking about it is basically, okay, I can see the majority of people in this demographic are older. So I'm going to focus on older audiences. And I see majority of these customers are women. So I'm going to focus on women. Okay. So let's go back into Gemini then, and let's enter in this prompt really quick, and we'll expand this out. So again, all we need to do is insert the market / product you're selling and the ages and genders you're targeting. So I'm going to say in the market for cat water fountains for women who are 45 to 65 plus. And we'll say, we'll even add a qualifier here, like mainly in the 55 to 65 plus range. Okay. And that's it. Once we have fill that out, where we tell the AI what market we're selling in, what product we're selling, and then who, generally speaking, we're targeting, which is women who are 45 to 65 plus, mainly in the 55 to 65 plus range, then this prompt is fully good to go. And let's go back to the avatar research doc. And that's all you need to fill out. And then now we can go ahead and press deep research, make sure that's enabled, and then press submit on the prompt. And then similar to competitor research, we pretty much we wait this out. And then same thing, it's going to ask us to confirm the research, and all we need to do is press start research, and we let this thing cook. So I'll see you guys in a few. All right, so I had to unpause because, as you can see, 192 websites currently being researched. And guys, if you remember the old pain diving prompt, this was like the research that we would do. It would be 20 public discussion forum posts, basically trying to understand our customer demographic. We tell the AI, here's our demographic, women who are 45 that want to count water fountain, find 20 public discussion forum posts, and then, tell me about their pain points, their problems, the words they use, etc. Now we're doing the same thing, but with 192 freaking websites. Look at this. We're getting the Reddit forums. We're getting forums I've never even fucking heard of. Okay? We're getting menopause forums. I mean, what is this? Menopause matters. Whoa, Adam and Eve said, Lord, when we are in the garden. All right. We're going to close out of that. Anyways, you get the point. 192 websites that we're doing research on. So we're basically, this is the upgraded pain diving prompt on steroids. Like 20 public discussion forum posts. That's cute, bro. Try 192 websites being searched. So anyways, I'm going to let this continue on, and I will see you guys in a bit. All right, so this actually took a little bit longer than anticipated, but we have finally finished the psychographic research, or the avatar research. And again, same thing. What we're going to do now is we're going to export this over to Google Docs. If you don't have Google Docs, then go ahead and copy it into a Google Doc. Okay, sweet. So now you should have the avatar research. And again, this is the deep dive of the research into your customer avatar to try and figure out what are their pains, what are their problems, what kind of beliefs do they have, and how do they describe all these things in their own words. Now, this document, I would strongly suggest that you actually do. If there's any document that you read from start to finish, it would be this one. And let's be honest, half of you guys are definitely not going to read this, but I would strongly encourage you to read this all the way through, because this is who you're going to be focusing on and who you're going to be selling the product to until you get to $1,000 a day and all the way up to $10,000 per day. So even now at Purify doing $10,000 a day, I am still speaking to the same 60-year-old woman who I was speaking to at $1,000 a day. You only need one avatar to really scale to upwards of $10,000 per day. So I'd recommend you actually read this through all the way, because it dives into who this person is, what kind of beliefs they have, right? And we can already see here, like in section 3, some really useful information, knowing that our market is solution aware. So we know that people are using water bowls, they're using gravity fed waters, they're using other fountains like our, competitors, Drinkwell, Cadit, PetMate, Pet Libro, Pioneer Pet. You can see what the market likes about existing solutions, right? You can see, sorry about that. Just had to redo the recording there. But you can see what they like about certain solutions out there, what are their dislikes and frustrations with the current solutions. This is going to be really helpful if you are writing towards a solution-aware audience. There's all kinds of different, really valuable information. What you want to do is focus on really getting to the bottom of what their specific beliefs and desires are. So less so about like the actual like fountains themselves, but section 2 is a really good example of all of the information that's going to be extremely relevant to you as you're writing copy. So here you can see the language of love that these customers are using. So how they describe their cats. Look at this. On the Menopause Matters forum, a user named Catherine encapsulates this sentiment perfectly. I feel so lucky to be the mommy of such a special furry girl. She's my best friend, and if I'm down, she can often lift my spirits. This single sentence contains 3 key identifiers: mommy, furry girl, and best friend, all of which elevate the cat to familial, human-like status. This is not an isolated example. The term fur baby is ubiquitous in these communities. Another user on the same forum, CRT, humorously refers to herself as the cat's slave, owner, a common and affectionate trope that acknowledges the cat's central and often pampered role in the household. So all of that to say, there's a lot of really valuable information that's going to tell you what are the problems that your audience have, what is the pain points that your audience have, and what language do they use to describe these things in their own words. And that's very important. If you're not able to describe your customers' pains and problems in their own words, then you're never going to be able to write copy that converts, because nobody likes to be marketed to. And when you feel marketed to is when someone is trying to speak to you and they're doing so in a way that is not at all how you speak to, or how you speak or describe your particular problems and pain points. So with this document, again, I would recommend that you strongly read this start to finish, so you can really deeply understand your customer. But again, the majority of the use of this document is going to come in the form of prompting AI to write copy and create ads for you. So same idea here, or same, I guess, action here, which is to download this as a PDF document. Okay. And I'm actually going to share this really quick and add this as an example to our prompt here. Desire to scale system. Okay, let's go ahead and replace this. Okay, cool. So here's the example doc, and we have that here. And so now you should have the awareness research document completed. You should have the competitor research document completed. And now you should have the avatar research document completed. So the last step in all of this is to create what I call the master research document. And again, this is basically going to combine all of these three research documents. And the master research document is what you want to give to AI every single time you want to create a new piece of copy or a new ad or whatever the case may be. Anytime you're going to write ads or do anything to do with ads, this is the document that you're going to give to AI. So what we're going to do now, so we're inside of Claude, and you can do this again with ChatGPT. I recommend you use Claude just because I happen to like the output better. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into our desire to scale system prompts. We're going to grab prompt number 4. We're going to grab all of this information here and paste this directly into Claude. And then again, we're going to replace any of that yellow information here, as you see here, with our information. So we're going to add in our niche, which is, we'll just say cat health niche. The specific product is cat water fountain, and we are targeting the US. And now we're going to go into our documents, and we're going to upload all of the 3 documents. So we're going to upload the awareness document, we're going to upload the competitor research document, and we're going to upload the avatar or psychographic research document as well. So let's go ahead and upload all of that information now. So I have the psychographic one, the awareness one, and I think this is the competitor one here. So this attach. Okay, so we've got the psychographic one, we've got the market awareness one, and then we've got the competitor research document as well, which again, as a recap, are these first 3 prompts here. So we've generated these, downloaded them, and now we're going to create the master research document. Okay. The only other thing that we need to replace here, very important that you do this, is let's scroll through. Where is it? Basically, this section here where it says target market demographic overview. Focus on people who fall into the problem awareness solution or market segments primarily. Let's go back into Claude and see if we can find that. It's fucking impossible. Okay, right there. All right, so where it says focus on people who fall into the, what you want to do now is you want to insert the awareness levels that make up the majority of your total addressable market. So go back to your market awareness sheet, and you're going to scroll down and find the awareness level that has the highest percentage TAM. So for me, that's going to be solution aware and product aware. And those are the audiences that I want to focus on. I am probably going to throw in problem aware as well, just because I think that would be worthwhile to know. But definitely you should have these 2, solution aware and product aware, because as you can see, they make up 60% of the overall market, and they're the largest audience sizes. So those are the ones that we want to focus on. We're going to ignore most aware, and we're going to ignore unaware as well. So let's go ahead and add that in. So fall into the solution aware and product aware market. And then we'll say problem aware is important to us, but not as big of a priority as solution and product aware. Okay. So try and keep it focused to like no more than 2. But if there is a third one, like you see it similarly like mine, where it's like, okay, It's like 20% versus 25%, and still a good audience that or sizable awareness level that you may want to tap into. So add it there, but make sure you tell it to prioritize your number one for sure, and then your second place. Okay, so then from there, we can go ahead and press enter on this, and I'm going to be using Opus 4 for this. You can use Sonnet, but Opus 4 is obviously a better model for this kind of thing. So let's go ahead and generate this and give this a second. All right, so as you can see, this is starting to generate all of this information. And it's basically summarizing the most important stuff from all three of those documents. So we've got target demographic overview. Generally speaking, what is the demographic of the people we're selling to? What's the market awareness distribution? So we've got 35% solution aware, 25% product aware, 20% problem aware. Then we've got the target market psychographic overview. So the problems and pain points in their own words, health and disease fears. My cat Cleo just died and I feel utterly wretched. More than 3,000 domestic cats die each year because of health issues. We've got the frustrations people have with their current fountains. So these are things that you want to include. I can tell you firsthand, like focusing on the fact that plastic fountains, because they're plastic, are porous and develop bacteria, is one of the winning angles and frustrations that I have in my copy. Emotional burden, right? I feel so lucky to be the mommy of a special furry girl. It is definitely true what they say. You can lose yourself in your kids. What? Oh, I feel like, you know, once you're, that's like empty nesters, like people who are like, they wrap up their entire identity in their kids and then their kids leave off to college. And then, you know, now they have a cat that can replace that. The deafening silence in the house. I feel like I'm feeling completely like a waste of life. Holy fuck. That's really dark. Product rejection. So again, these are pain points about, you know, solution aware audience, or for product aware and solution aware audiences, where it's like, you know, a lot of people in the market are buying these fountains and their cats are ignoring it. So that's something that you can put into your marketing, right? Like, finally, the only fountain my cat is not ignoring, and I've tried 3 different ones, right? Now you can already see how aligning our marketing with the awareness level of our audience can really make it more effective at actually persuading them to buy. Hopes and dreams in their own words. You've got health and prevention, peace of mind, identity and purpose, language preferences, primary promises that resonate, you know, prevent kidney disease, see your cat drinking more water, get rid of slime and mold, save thousands in emergency vet bills, enjoy peace and quiet, give your fur baby unfiltered or filtered pure water. You've got the biggest objections as well and how to address them. So objection is this another company from China. That's going to be difficult to address for obvious reasons because we're drop shipping from China. Product quality fears. So will it break in 6 months? So you give them a really long guarantee, right? Cleaning complexity. Will this be another disgusting, hard to clean fountain? Tracking. So all of this stuff is really like, all of this will get fed into your marketing materials. Like when you're writing copy with AI, and even as you're writing your own copy or you're adjusting your own copy, all of this information is so critical for you to know to be able to write really good copy and actually scale. Okay. So what they've tried, this is, again, if you're solution aware, you need to know what your competitors are currently trying or what your audience is currently trying. Look, regular water bowls, putting water in the food, right? Trying multiple water stations. You know, if they've tried multiple solutions, what do they hate about them? You know, they're difficult to clean. Like plastic fountains are fucking disgusting after a couple weeks, right? And so all of this information right here is a gold mine, right? This basically summarizes all of the most important information that's going to be mission critical to writing copy. So what we do now is we copy that and we're going to open up a new document in Google Docs. And you guys know the drill. Paste that in just like that. So this is our master research document, and we can just call it, you know, master research document here. We're going to, let me first share this with our prompt here. So we'll copy this and we'll go back here and we'll just put example master research doc. And this will be Claude Opus. And I believe this is 4.1, right? And we'll put this on, just give it a nice heading. Okay. And then we'll insert a nice line break here. Okay. Alrighty. So now we have the example master research document here. And if you haven't already, go to, where is it? The master research document. And you're going to want to go ahead and download this as a PDF. Okay. So now you have the master research document. And as a quick recap, you should have 4 documents in total. You should have, at this point, the awareness research document, the competitor research document, the avatar research document, and now you have the master research document. Okay. Now that you have all 4 of these documents, we're almost ready to start writing some really, really, really good copy. There's really only 2 steps left. So we've got mass desire extraction. So we've basically done all this research. Now we're going to move into, now that we have all this research, coming up and extracting the mass desires from our product. And then we're going to do one more step, which is called desire validation. And in desire validation, it's basically taking all of the desires that we've just found in this prompt and basically searching the internet to make sure that these desires are actually things that people want in the market. So basically, once we have all this information, we're going to create a Claude project that we will use indefinitely to write copy. So at this stage, let's make sure you have all these documents saved. So you should have the awareness, competitor, avatar, and master document. Keep those on your desktop for now. Let's move on to desire extraction. So prompt number 5 is mass desire extraction. And as the name suggests, very simply, what we're going to do in this stage is extrapolate the mass desires from a product or extract the mass desires from a product. So you can do this in any, for me, I haven't found much of a difference in output. I actually found like ChatGPT to work pretty well for this. So I'm going to use GPT-5. You can use Claude. You can use Gemini. Paste in the prompt just like that. Only things that you need to include are the link to your main competitor and then an Amazon link to your product or similar product. So obviously, if you're watching this and you don't yet have a product, or you don't have a product page, then go ahead and put your number 1 competitor and also put an Amazon link to your product or a similar product. So we can just go on to Amazon and just type in like cat water fountain or whatever your product is. And we'll take a similar one. So like this one right here, we'll copy the link address and then we'll put this into ChatGPT. Okay. And what this is going to do is give us the desires. So let's generate this, and I'm using GPT-5 for this. Okay, so what it's going to do, and I'll explain to you guys as it's moving along, is it's going to list out all of the direct performances or the direct benefits that your product can give you, that your product can give somebody. So what is everything that your product can do, right? Then it's going to go over secondary or consequential performances. So of the things that your product does, what does that give people or what does that allow them to do? Then it's going to map these performances to specific desires, right? So as you can see, we have the performance, filters, and circulates water. The effect of that is that the pet drinks more, and the pet drinking more satisfies the desire for health, relief from pain, and longevity, okay? Then it's going to score these mass desires against the definition, the textbook definition of what makes a mass desire. So I guess we should probably define that as well, since you guys are watching this and presumably starting from scratch. Okay, mass desire is basically the thing that somebody wants to get out of a product. And Eugene Schwartz had 3 dimensions for assessing whether or not you should go after one desire versus the other. So there's 3 criteria: urgency, staying power, and scope. So urgency is this pain or need immediate and pressing, or is it, something trivial? Staying power, does it repeat daily or chronically, or is it temporary? And then scope, how many people share this mass desire? Is it something super specific, or is it something really broad? Okay. So going through the prompt, as you'll see, it's going to, map out all the performances, map it to a specific desire, and then it's going to evaluate what are the most dominant desires, which ones have the highest urgency, highest staying power, and highest scope. So let's go back. And as you can see, if we go all the way down, you're going to get, I want customer statements from your customer's POV. So these are the desires, right? When you think about what does your customer want to get, what we've done here is we've said, ChatGPT, look at everything my product can do, and then map that to specific desires. So these are the mass desires. So for those of you guys that are coming from 1.0, you'll remember this prompt here, which is identifying the dominant 5 mass desires. And then they would look something like this. Now they look like this. So these are the mass desires. I want my cat to stay healthy and avoid urinary problems. I want my cat to drink more water without me forcing them. I want clean, bacteria-free water I can trust. I want to save money by preventing costly vet bills. Okay, so these are the desires. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our desire to scale system prompts. We're going to go to prompt number 6, and this is, fix this right here. Put that nice heading on it. Okay, we're going to go to prompt number 6, and now we're going to copy this, okay, and we're going to bring this into Gemini, So we're kind of bouncing all over the place, but stick with me here. Bounce this into Gemini, toggle deep research, and we're just going to replace all the information again with our information. So we're going to put our niche, which is the cat health space. The specific product is cat water fountain, and the country is in the US. And then what we say is, I have just used an LLM to extract the mass desires from my product, and I'm going to attach the output from the chat as a PDF here. And then scroll all the way down, and you'll see a section that says attach output from prompt number 5. So what we're going to do is go to ChatGPT. We will just press copy on this, and we're then going to go back to Gemini, paste that in, and just paste it in just like that, and go ahead and press deep research or press start. So essentially what we're doing is we're looking at our product, we're seeing what are all the things that it can do, what are all the mass desires, and now we're going to validate these mass desires are actually things that people want in the market by having Gemini basically reverse search these mass desires with deep research. So we're going to take all of these mass desires and we're going to scour like 200 or 250 websites to see, do people actually want these things? Like, do people actually want their cats to stay healthy? Or do people actually want their cats to drink more water without me forcing them, right? And then we're going to choose the top 5 from those. And then those are the mass desires that we're going to test only after we have proven that those are the things that people actually want through deep research. I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles. Hopefully this is being communicated well through this video. But let's go ahead and wait for this prompt to load up, and then we'll go from there. All right, so it's asking once more time to start the deep research, and we'll go ahead and start research, and we will go ahead and let this cook. Always love seeing the number of websites that we get on the research phase. All right, I'm going to pause here and we'll be back shortly. So as this prompt is kind of working, I kind of want to explain through Gemini's thinking what's actually taking place here. So as you can see, based on the initial analysis, I've identified several potential mass desires, blah, 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 blah. My next step is to gather real customer language from various online platforms. And then this will help me understand the true emotional triggers for cat owners. And then after collecting this data, I will analyze each desire against Schwartz's 3 dimensions, urgency, staying power, and scope, assigning a score to each. This will allow me to rank the desires from strongest to weakest, providing a clear picture of which ones hold the most potential for a marketing campaign. This is the main point of doing this prompt. Hey guys, Future Anthony here, and I had to re-record this ending portion of the video because I made some slight tweaks to this part of the process. So anyways, long story short, by the time that you're entering in this prompt, you should have a mass desire research validation document here. So I actually made a couple changes to the original prompt, which you're watching the video before I made the changes, but by the time you actually have access to this video, the prompt has already been adjusted. So if you go back into the desire validation prompt, a couple things that I added was here at the bottom, which is at the end of your output of however many mass desires I gave you to start, rank and choose the top 5 most prominent. And these should be I want statements, and then choose/rank from the list of desires I'm about to give you. And then we, as we did, we attached the output from prompt number 5 here at the bottom. So I'll show you exactly what that looks like really quick. So you guys can see my prompt here where I had the prompt number 6, right? And then at the very bottom where it says attach output from prompt number 5, I literally just copy pasted the entire chat output from prompt number 5. So if we go to here, this entire thing, I literally just copy pasted, like even the ChatGPT thing here. Okay. And then I ran the prompt. And now with this, I have the ranking of all of the mass desires that we got from output number 5. So it creates this scorecard and it ranks all of the mass desires on a scale of 1 to 5 for urgency, staying power, scope. And then it assigns it a total score. And then it's going to give you the top 5 mass desires that you should focus on, including why it's scalable, some of the visuals that you can employ to actually bring these desires to life and leverage them in your ad copy. And really, like, again, with this, similarly to all of the other documents, it's not really important that you read all of these start to finish. This is what's going to be used as we go to prompt our LLM of choice, which hopefully you have decided on using Claude because it's the best copywriter tool by far. All you need to know is the final recommendation, which is the top 5 desires for your campaign. So in the case of Purify, it's going to be this mass desire one, which is I want to keep my cat safe from deadly urinary blockages. I want to avoid the financial devastation of a $4,000 vet bill. I want to stop feeling guilty and prove to myself that I am a good, responsible pet parent. I want the peace of mind that comes from knowing my cat is healthy and hydrated every day. And lastly, I want my cat to live a long, happy, and playful life with me. So once you have all of this generated, similarly, as we've done with all the documents, we're going to export this as a Google Doc. Again, if you're not using Gemini for this process, then you're going to copy the contents onto a new Google Doc, and we're going to download this document as a PDF. Okay, so Cat Fountain Mass Desire Research. We're going to download this, and we'll call this actually Cat Fountain Mass Desire Research and Validation. Okay, and then we'll download this as a PDF. All right, and so that is the last of the preliminary research documents that we need before we are now ready to go ahead and write some ad copy with AI and start making some ads. So if you go into, you'll notice now, when you were watching this video just now, you probably didn't see this end of research checklist because it's, again, something that I just added now. The end of research checklist basically tells you, if you've been following along this entire video and the previous video where we did awareness research and then where we've done competitor avatar, master research, and the desire validation research, basically everything that you should have now at this point at the end of the previous video and this video. So you should have a exported and PDF saved to your computer, which contains the awareness research doc, the competitor research doc, the avatar research doc, the master research doc, and then the last document, which we just generated right now, which is the desire validation research doc. So, which is this one here. So once you've, jumping all over the place. Once you can check all of these off, right? Once you have all of the preliminary research documents, you are then ready to move on to writing your ads and landing pages in the Desire to Scale System 2.0. And all you need to do is click here. And once you click on this, you'll be now, what you're going to do is basically using all of these research documents that we've spent, the last hour or so generating to actually write your first set of ads and, writing your first set of ads and landing pages in the Desire to Scale System 2.0. So, that's pretty much it for this lesson. Get ready to write some really good ads, and I will see you in the next one.